Welcome to The Grant, the EU funding podcast.
My name is Niels Winter, and I am the creator, editor, and host of The Grant. The Grant is an independent, non-commercial podcast initiative with the ambition to dig into all corners of the EU R&D funding system and topics of interest for the full EU R&D funding community. Coordination of EU proposals and projects is one long life of prioritization of tasks and not least uncomfortable tasks. And the uncomfortable tasks often seem like they are endlessly coming onto your coordinator desk. This week's guest in the Grant podcast has a solution for coordinators. Eat the frog. Isabel Burdallo, senior researcher at RISE in Sweden, has lots of experience working with both EU proposals and implemented EU projects, which makes her very familiar with all the small, medium and big problems and challenges you have to handle as a coordinator. To make a perfect analogy of how you need to choke down difficult issues, she made a LinkedIn post referring to the Mark Twain quote sounding like this: "If you have to eat a frog, do it first thing in the morning, and if you have to eat two, eat the biggest one first." So, of course, I invited Isabel into the virtual podcast studio for a talk about the concept of eat the frog and digging into the biggest frogs that coordinators have to swallow once in a while. A fantastic episode with also a little bit of Christmas feel. Of course. Merry Christmas, and please enjoy. The Grant. Welcome to The Grant, the EU funding podcast. Today, I have a guest on board that is, when you do what I do, my feeding source, so to say, of good guests, nice guests, is LinkedIn. And when you have a focus as a podcaster, you try to pick up people or persons who have a nice angle and a nice approach to both how to share things and then do it with a nice approach on giving a nice curve or an angle to a specific thing within EU R&D funding. And there are a handful out there, and I'm slowly gathering them and inviting them in as guests. And today, I have a guest that I've been wanting to get on board for a while because she has very, very nice posts, and we will have a talk about one of them today. But I've already been talking way too much here in the intro before introducing the guest. So, Isabel, welcome.
Thank you.
Lovely to have you on board.
Thank you.
Isabel, before we share with the listeners what we're going to talk about today, can you say a few words about yourself?
Yes, sure. So, in short, I'm a mother of three. I'm Spanish, working in Sweden for 2.5, and I work as project manager. Yeah, if I want to go it longer, like I'm chemist from the Basque Country University in Spain, holding a PhD in material science from Autonomous University of Barcelona. And I did my PhD at the Microelectronics Center of Barcelona, that is an institute under the CSIC, the Spanish National Research Council.
Mm-hmm. And shortly on your experience on EU funding and EU funded proposals. Are you a proposal preparer or are you a facilitator, or in which corner are you?
I'm a little bit everything. What I try is to facilitate the life of the researchers. This is what I like to call me.
Mm-hmm. So you're a research manager, so to say.
Kind of.
But you also help them with writing some parts of their proposals, I guess.
Yes.
That's how it works. Thanks. Before we get onto the topic, I always give my guests the possibility to share a little bit about the organization that they work for. Do you want to say a few words about RISE?
Yes, sure.
They would probably
So,
be happy, your managers.
so I work for RISE, Research Institute of Sweden. At RISE, we currently collaborate with all industries and sectors to build sustainable Sweden and Europe. And we are more than 3,000 people working on that. And in particular, I work for rice processor that is in the north of Sweden. We are biorefinery. In particular, I'm working in the chemistry group where my colleagues, they work in the valorization of biological residues into biofuels, biopolymers, bio-based materials, and so on.
Ah.
And I joined them in February this year with the focus on initiating Horizon Europe project and also helping them to manage some of the projects that they already have. So our primary interest is cluster 5 because we work in bio-based processes and industrial symbiosis. Cluster 5, we work with biofuels, and also cluster 6 with bio-based processes and product and other scheme. And just briefly, in 2024, we will be working on several ideas like high-value application of crystalline nanocellulose, electrochemistry for waste valorization, and plastic recycling with thermochemical treatment. And my role is to help them to find the right topics, the right colleagues to go for them.
The facilitator of everything there. And to the listeners, I can share that Rises, it's actually 3,000 persons, quite a big amount of people in a country like Sweden, with 8 million inhabitants. And I think Rise, it's sort of gathering. It's sort of an umbrella research organization that has been merging with research organizations throughout Sweden over the last 5 years or something like this, right?
Yeah, we are one of them. Procession before was not Rice. Now we are 60% owned by Rice, but we are still owned 40% for a cluster or industry in the.
So it's sort of trying to generate making a conglomerate, a research that is covering technical areas throughout the whole country of Sweden. Let's move on to the topic, because Isabel, actually the headline of today's episode is called "Eat the Frog," and there will be a byline for people to understand when they access the episode what this is about. But "Eat the Frog," it was a headline of one of your LinkedIn posts, and the LinkedIn post was related to coordination. But of course, when you have such a headline, you are captured by it. Now, I already start this way too wrong because this is a Christmas episode. And we're supposed to have a short Christmas feeling in this episode before we fly into the topic. So it's going to serve dear out there. We're just going to shortly give you some Christmas feeling because this will be released on the 25th of December. So, Isabel, how is Christmas there where you are?
Yeah, as I mentioned, I have 3 young children. So since we are from everywhere and nowhere, we just incorporate tradition from all over the place. So we have Jul Totem from Sweden. We have Santa Claus from everywhere. Olechero from Basque Country, Tio from Catalonia, and also Los Reyes Magos from Spain. So a mix of everything and nothing. But it's fun.
Did you celebrate St. Nicholas on the 6th?
Not really. This is something that I have to also incorporate.
This is some countries have it where the children, they have to put out clean shoes on this the night of the 6th, and then Saint Nicholas comes by, and if they're clean, they get candy, and if they are dirty, they get a garlic clove in them.
We have Los Reyes Magos, that is also the night of the 6th, so something similar.
Well, that's in January.
Yeah.
This is in December.
No.
Yeah. So, and tell me, is it snow where you are, no?
Yes.
So you have the real Christmas feel, and tell me, because being a foreigner in another country, because I tried that myself, living abroad and having Christmas. How do you get the right feeling? Do you feel Christmassy, or do you miss some of the things or feelings from Spain when you?
I feel, I'm missing food and family
Yeah.
for sure. This is like the two things that I really miss in Christmas.
Are you so you're not going to Spain during
No,
any?
no, we will go in January.
Okay. After New Year's, will you go and celebrate on the 6th of January?
No, we will go 11. 11.
Okay. To share with the listeners, because I know, because I have been celebrating Christmas twice in Spain, in Estepona, in Andalusia. And Reyes Magos is a huge feast on the 6th of January. That's the Three Kings. It's you have actually a procession going through the city with wagons and all kinds of people. They dress up and candles being thrown from the from all these cars and yeah, it's a huge feast. It's massive.
Mhm. It's crazy, yes.
No. Just a brief Christmas feeling here. So, let me reintroduce the topic. We will talk about Eat the Frog, because it was a headline of one of your LinkedIn posts related to being a coordinator. And it, of course, caught my eye because it was something it was just not one of the normal LinkedIn updates on how do you do this, how do you do that. Maybe we take a fly in first on what it is to be the conditions of being a coordinator, because then quite soon we'll come to why this concept Eat the Frog, will move into that. But so take a short flying on being a coordinator. It's, how would you define it?
You know what? For me, describing what it means to be a coordinator is not easy because you can distinguish between different types of coordination. There is technical coordination, administrative economic coordination, proposal coordination, project coordination. So, and I'm sure I'm losing something, but I say this because I believe that the characteristic of each coordinator are not the same exactly. So, and not everyone seems to know it, that you need different people to coordinate different things, different projects, and so on. And in this business, in the project management and European project, I see people who have entered this field from very diverse background. People with and without scientific knowledge, with and without doctorate. So that's why I believe it's challenging to define what it means to be a coordinator.
Mm-hmm. If I think about, if I saw the first thoughts I get when I think about what are the conditions of being a coordinator, I think chaotic. I think heavy workload. I think multitasking. I think anxiety, maybe a little bit. I think. What else do I think? I think a spider in the middle of the web.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It can both be a wonderful role and a terrifying role.
Yes.
I think, and with that in mind, let's move on to because it's this is the motivation for the episode, of course. So let's have a look at this Eat the Frog idea. So can you introduce this concept?
So when I wrote this LinkedIn post, I was thinking what I think is the most important, like task that has a coordinator in a project, and is Eat the Frog. If something happens in a project, has to be someone that deal with it.
Mhm.
And sometimes the researcher, the principal investigator, he is really close to the idea, to the project, to deal with it. No, if a project, for example, deviate or if the result, the scientific results are not really aligned or are not as good as we thought, you need someone to say and to be prepared to say, okay, maybe we need to change, or we have to stop, or we have to do something. And I think it has to be a coordinator
Uh-huh.
to eat this frog.
Yeah. Well, anyways, it always gets back to the coordinator, right?
Yep.
It's not. It's like it's both in the proposal process and in the project process. It's you might be lucky enough when you write the proposal if you have a private grants consultancy helping you with that. Then you have another frog eater with you. Yeah, you can share it, the coordinator and the grants consultant that is working with you.
Yes.
But when you run the project, yeah, it pretty much lands on the table on sitting there's a quack in front of the coordinator, and then maybe you wanna share the quote from Mark Twain.
Okay, this one that. Okay, Mark Twain said, no,
Mhm.
if it's your job to eat a frog, it is best to do it first thing in the morning. And if
Mhm.
it's your job to eat two frogs, it is best to eat the biggest one first.
Yeah. And of course it's very funny quote, but it's also funny because it's true. And of course, what you're referring to here and why it is calibrating with this, like the coordinator role, is because it's you have this cacophony of different issues that pops up constantly on your table. Of course, you have moments where you have a flood of frogs coming in, and other periods where you sail rather smoothly, and just once in a while a frog pops up. um, but the idea is, of course, that that you have a problem. Yeah, nobody likes to eat a frog, so of course it's a matter of how do you deal with a problem. Now, I took the time to dig a little bit into the concept and look a little bit into websites explaining it and so on, with people theorizing a little bit over this. And in relation to, if you look at work, in a work situation, this is what people who hail this discourse, they say, well, it can help you if you are stalking on, if you are if you're blocked, if you have bottlenecks, if you don't really know how to attack your working day because you have too many things to do. So it can help you in your work efficiency, if you have too much on your hands, right? And prioritizing of your tasks. And I think that's the key element here. In this quote and in the concept is you need to prioritize your tasks. Yeah, it's being a coordinator. It's one long prioritization of what you need to do next. Sometimes there's a fire landing, a dog shit on fire that lands on your table, then you deal with that. But you have to prioritize all the time. So maybe we want to move into to this. So the challenges of being a coordinator. So what are the frogs? Because that's what you out there, of course, you are interested in hearing, of like the coordinators to be, or the already coordinators. Because Isabel, have you coordinated yourself projects?
I coordinated a proposal for sure, and a
Mhm.
project not all the time, the project, because before finishing I left the organization.
Okay, because here we have some sub bullets in this, where you list out a handful of things, right? Of what frogs you have to deal with. Partners not doing the work that they are supposed to do. Let's start with that. Can you share? Don't no one mentioned, no one forgotten, but just in general general terms, your experience on this.
Yeah, sometimes, and this is, I think, sometimes is a problem during the proposal writing, that you don't really write a good proposal,
Mhm.
so you don't have really a framework for everyone. So when you go to the project to execution, people they don't always know what they want to do. So
Mhm.
it's not that they don't want to do the job, but they don't really know they don't do the work. And see, this is linked, like the task from one the partner has to go for the other, and so on. Someone in the chain is missing, then you are missing the project.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's you have core partners, and core partners are often working a lot. Yeah, they have an interest. It's of the idea comes from them, or if it doesn't come from them, they are often closely connected from they've been working together with the coordinator or the idea generator, so they have an organizational and personal interest in the project and where it needs to go. In European projects, it's a collaboration, international collaborative projects, right? So it's a multi-collaboration, and of course you need to fill in the partner value chain, and sometimes you sketch that value chain and you have an idea of where you can go, more or less. It doesn't matter. So we're not digging into partner searches here, but sometimes you end up with a partner that is ideal for the role, but they don't really feel themselves an incentive to really invest time in both the proposal part, and even you can see the the distance in their eyes when they even, for if a project get funded, okay, this is gonna be trouble. That thing, because what happens is, and I think this is what this element is summing up, is you need people to do an effort if you need to win the proposal.
Yeah, you need people that commit.
Exactly. And because any evaluator can see this.
And I think we say the correct word, because at the end, project is not organization. It's not Rice from Sweden. It's not this company from Spain. It's people. Yeah. And if people does not commit, the organization is lost.
Exactly. It's human psychology. The people are just interpreters of an innovation strategy on an organizational level. It's the human beings that are involved in the processes that are. So it can be as many Siemens and Vestas or Lego or whatever huge corporations that looks nice. It doesn't matter if the persons that are connected to this process, they suck.
Yep.
From a coordinator point of view, if they don't commit to the process and stall everything, and everything gets sidelined because they can't, deliver in time, or you constantly have to ask for things, you constantly have to push, and nobody's getting anything back, then doesn't matter how good a name the organization has. It's going to be a crap proposal. You won't win it, their name on board or not. And you're not, even if you win it, that's even worse, as I normally say, because Jesus Christ, if you sit then and win it with people who cannot really see why they're actually there, it can destroy everything. Everybody's going to have a bad experience for one or two partners that are indifferent to what you're supposed to do.
Yes.
And that frog, the frog here, Isabel, that is to put the finger on the sour spot, right? It is to take that. It is to take that confrontation.
Yes.
Yeah, it's to pick up that's the frog. It's to pick up the conflict and address it. And if the big frog is to throw partners out,
you have to do it.
Yeah, someone has to do it.
And it's the coordinator who has to
Yeah. And sometimes the proposal writer, I've been in that position. Sometimes the proposal writer is doing most of what a coordinator would do if they didn't have a proposal writer on board. So the proposal writer can do many things, also dealing with conflicts like this. But the actual coordinator has to step in at something like this and pick that up and swallow the toad. Yeah. I would almost say this. No, that's that frog. Then we have partners leaving the consortia, and it's related to what I just mentioned here. You throw in the previous one, that would be throwing them out eventually, but this one, yeah. Do you want to put some words on that?
Yeah, this is a big problem, depending on the consortia for sure and the role of this partner. Sometimes it's a small role and you can cover with others within the project, but sometimes it's the partner that is going to be, for example, to scale up the technology. That is something that happened to me.
Yeah.
And then you need to replace it. And if the technology that you need to replace is quite unique, it could be really complicated to find someone to replace it.
This is this stress factor, this anxiety, the anxiety levels that you reach to when you sit and have the responsibility of a consortia where this happens, proposal where this happens, it's through the roof. Because it's in the proposal, and we're talking two different scenarios, right? We're talking in the proposal, okay. Then you are, especially, so here it's a time is a factor. So if it happens 1 week before, you're probably not going to make it. And you have to write through the proposal and see if you can patch it up without that partner and make it likable that you will be able to reach what you want to reach anyways. If it's up to 2 weeks, well, then you can make an effort to get someone on board. And depending on size and importance and invest, the responsibilities they have in what they will do, I have managed to close holes also in last minute, but it's tricky. The other scenario, it's when the project has been funded.
Yep.
That's not, it's probably not, I don't know if it's worse than the other one, because here you actually have the funding. So the worst thing here is if you can't find someone to pick it up, because then the project probably falls if it's an important one, right? But the thing here is the big carrot, of course, is that the funding is already won. So everyone that you approach, you say, look, you just have to pick it up. You don't have to do anything. It is already funded. You just have to step into the role. Yeah?
But then you have to be careful, because then you will have maybe the first problem, the first frog. This partner really has to commit to the project. Otherwise, you're going to have another big frog, maybe in some months.
Then another frog pops out of this first frog. So, of course, the frog is the unreliability, and the frog is, what is the frog to eat? The frog is getting someone else on board. Yeah, that's the frog. I think. Have you tried both scenarios, both before and after?
I even was in the middle, before the granted to be signed.
Okay.
So this is also tricky, because you are in the middle of nothing,
Yeah.
So yeah, and I was also in the part of being the partner leaving the consortia.
You tried to leave?
We already left when I was in an industry, because working in a research institution on a university and working in an industry is different. You have different scenarios. For a university, 3, 4, 5 years, it's no time. But for a company, 3 years, 4 years, maybe it's half of your life.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need to change, and you need to have to eat some frogs, and it's to leave a partner, a consortia.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that's also a frog. Of course, if you're a partner, now we're talking from the coordinator's point of view, but of course, if you have landed somewhere where you are not feeling like, then you need to. It's but better, for Christ's sake, out there, do it as early as possible.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
Don't procrastinate such a decision, because it's going to it's basically pissing on other people's hard work.
Yeah, for sure.
You have to have respect for the work that is behind developing a proposal of this magnitude, because it is many people's resources and investment of work into something like this. And it's so just because it feels uncomfortable psychologically for you, don't stall it. Just get out. Yeah. Anything else on that?
Nope.
The next one I have here, deliverables that are not done in a timely manner.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you want to fold it out?
Yeah, this is something that this is not a big frog, because you can speak to the project officers, for example, that okay, we will have this delay and because that, and but you have to be prepared on time. You cannot wait. If you are the partner that is in charge of this deliverable, you cannot wait until the end. Okay, maybe I will not be able to deliver tomorrow. To submit tomorrow the delivery. So this is something that and the coordinator has to track that everything is on time and everything is correct.
Yeah. It's a very normal problem.
Yeah.
So anyone who has been coordinating, been sitting in this role, they know of this. And that's not only because you have core partners that work intensively, and then where deliverables, it's a matter of where things get delayed. It's not a matter of them not wanting to fulfill their obligations, so to say. It's simply a matter of there might be some technical processes or so on, or tests or something that they cannot fit it into what they projected it to be. So that's of course something that is not. Nobody's going to take away your money from the commission side when it's like this, because then you can prove that it's not a matter of procrastination or being lazy. This is a matter of a technical process. However, what is much more normal are the partners that are lazy. Is probably not the right word. The most would say we have so much else to do in our organization, and I discovered too late that I didn't realize the amount of work it was to develop a exploitation strategy this is often related to the softer areas, so the communication, dissemination, exploitation areas, where the dissemination plan, or we are missing to make 3 workshops, we can't be able to make that within time, or we haven't what did we actually write we would do in those workshops? Oh shit, we're supposed to have a cross-sectoral cross country approach.
100 people attending our
and we're supposed to have all kind of sector organizations on board with high level speakers, all kinds of things that you promise when you want to get the funding, but then you sort of forget them. What you're actually supposed to do. This is quite normal. And then you have the reporting. So the reporting that you have to sort of deliver, and that's it's a little bit the same. I've seen colleagues. I haven't done much of these things myself, luckily, but I've seen colleagues in P&O struggle, where deadline was sidelined. It's where they had to struggle with follow up and coordinate with the project officer and the coordinator and so on. So the frog as a coordinator, it is of course to sit on people's heads. Yeah, to push people. To keep,
for sure.
to
track and
to push people.
Yeah, and to be sure that they are doing what they have to do.
Yeah. It's that's the frog.
Yeah.
That's the frog that sits on your table, and this is probably a frog that pops up on a regular basis.
Yeah.
It's not the biggest one. It's a small one. It's a goûter, and
it's a small, but you have to eat a lot. So at the end,
yeah, you'll be full. All right. Then we have it's a classic. Budgets out of control. Yeah, Isabel, you want to fold it out?
Yeah, this is crazy. When I was at the SIC, I was in charge of managing the economical report of all the European projects that we had. And this was crazy. This was crazy because when you build the budget during the proposal, and I don't know how many years after you are trying to report, and it's you always has problems with that. So as coordinator, you have to be really sure that everyone has their budget under control. The personnel, the personal costs, the amortization of the equipment, and so on.
Mm-hmm. This is, oh, my dear listeners, the budget. I've said it many times in my in previous episodes, also both alone and with my guests, that the budgets, the budgets. This is where the real project gets real. So this is where the project gets real. So everything you write in your proposal, all the nice things you want to do, and so on. When you reach to the budget outline, start there. That's where the fight begins. That's where people they start to show their faces. That's where you see if somebody is trying to tricking, somebody is trying to get more than they're supposed to do. I even tried people trying to cheat on the hours and adjusting so they would get more and stuff. It's you'll see everything is folded out in full. If people they have a clean heart and do this by the book, or if there's something in there. And also, not only that, you can have as clean as hard as you want, but then you have the negotiations of and if you have to cut budgets in the proposal before you submit to reach the target, there you have the real fights. Doesn't matter if you're trying to cheat or not. This is about matter of people fighting for their resources and their interests here. So it gets really ugly. Now, that's all this to say. That this is what people really, that's where that's the square root of everything. So when you go into the project, when that rolls, sometimes not everybody has the same well-functioning accountancy system in the organization. They put a little bit too many lines on the paper of how many hours they spend in the different work package categories and so on. And then you have the salad, right? Then it's because then suddenly at the interim, halfway through, you need to do some reporting on what you spend. So what's the frog, Isabel? The frog is when you have to adjust these things.
Yep.
And the frog is when you have to tell people that you have to cover yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
and you have to make them understand that.
That's nasty. I have tried, and again, I'm not going to mention any names because this is about. I've tried the first time that when I first entered the soul sector in 2008, I became a coordinator of an FP6 project, and one of the partners. So there was an issue where they were asking the coordinator. I was coordinating, but my manager was the head coordinator. So I was doing the day-to-day job because I just entered, I didn't. So she was sending an explanation about a partner's budget to them. But she made I think she was not, she wrote something that was not to be put in there. And then they spent the money. And then it became a huge legal battle. I had just entered this field, so I got the full, I got everything. I got the normal project outreach. I got the reporting of a episode, and then I got a legal battle, a legal fight with lawyers on both sides of the table, stuff like this. It did not go to court. I think they managed to settle it somehow. But it's as a partner, you have a responsibility for your own budget and need to be on top of your own budget and what the rules are.
Yes.
That was the core of that, because the coordinator, she was being helpful to them, explaining them. So, but it doesn't give, it didn't have any legal right, but the fact, what happened is, what I'm trying to say here is the effort that this is really, this is where it gets legal. This is where you, if there are anything, you can end up with this. This is why you have references in the consortium agreement to when we are dragging in the lawyers.
Because we have to remember that this is public money. So and you sign contract with the European Commission. So you have to really understand what you are signing.
Yeah, and you have to have a person in your own organization that understands this, or you hire a consultant that can tell you,
Yes.
a lawyer, a legal expert to tell you what this is like. No, that was a frog. It's quite a big frog.
Yeah.
Then you mentioned pandemia lockdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not very well. We don't know. Now we tried it, so now we're all ready for when it comes again at some point of time. Can you fold it out?
Yeah. For me, for example, I started this position in CSIC when I was working in European project in January 2020, and in March 2020, everything was closed in Spain. So we had huge problems, like just for managing project, but also there was some project that was like Marie Curie, people that was supposed to came to our research center to work, and they were not allowed. And we had some project research infrastructure, so people that has to came also to our laboratory, and they were not allowed. And what's complicated because everything was delayed. We have to ask for a lot of suspension of project because we were not able to go to our lab. Was really complicated this time.
So what was the frog?
Oof. The frog was to understand how to deal with everything. I don't know. Like
I guess the frog would be reorganizing all logistics, research, project logistics and budgets. Yeah. That's a pretty big frog.
Yeah.
And within a frame that has already been made.
Yes.
Yeah? It's a predefined frame. You cannot change that. That's a contract with the commission. They were flexible, the commission, with all these things because everybody understood. But still, they had given money to a publicly funded research project for a specific call for the benefit of research and development in Europe, right? And so you need to have some sort of need to fulfill that contract one way or the other.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a pretty big frog. Yeah, I was lucky enough not to be in a project during that time. I was just writing proposal. That was actually easier.
Yeah.
That was actually easier. Because I was either way. I have started to not making physical consortium meetings, meeting people before submission, because it for me, many people like it, I know, but for me, I was sitting with maybe 3 or 4 proposals at the same time, and to do that, that would be 2 days wasted, plus preparing logistics and planning and so on. So I was already not doing that. So the pandemics was just, well, I was sitting at my home desk as everybody did, and then I was building proposals and doing concepts and working online with my colleagues to shape those things and finding partners and so on. So everybody was just sitting there, So for that part, it wasn't too bad.
You were lucky. For example, I was in charge of economical report, and all our time sheets were in our research center, and I had no access to the time sheets and a lot of documentation. So I was not able to do the economical report even.
Yeah.
So it was.
That was the pandemics for us. Are there any other elements as a coordinator that we can think of where you have to eat frogs?
I don't know. I was thinking now, like, these are the frogs, and a tool that we have also, the coordinator, is the communication, just to try to minimize, all the frogs, and it's the communication, how we communicate, and in both ways, you have to say things, and you have to listen, and you have to be really, really careful about that. And this is a way to minimize the amount of frogs.
Yeah, because that is a frog. Conflicts in general, right?
Yep.
Damage control.
Yeah.
That both conflicts erupting and then damage, because that can be really big, feel like a really big frog on a day-to-day basis. Because it's not few consortia do not have friction between some people. Yeah, it's normal more than it's you don't have it's not happy joy. It's you always have friction or somebody who is odd one out or someone where you can see it rubs against the hair if another person is speaking or yeah.
Because again, we end up in the same. The project are the people, the soul of the project are people, and sometimes,
yeah. Sort of people start to get the idea, but maybe we should. I think the next point that I put here it's trying maybe to give people an idea of how they can work from a frog eater approach. Do you use the concept yourself, Isabel? Do you think of it? Yeah.
Yes, usually yes. At the beginning, when I started to work on project management and so on, I was like maybe so shy, to eat frogs and to do it in the very first thing in the morning. But then I realized that it's a really waste of time for me and for everyone just to not do it. So I tried to do it the very first thing in the morning. When I was working in a company, I was like at 6 o'clock in the morning, and was the perfect time because there was no one else in the office. There was no mail coming or calls, so it's the perfect time to eat your frog.
Maybe I outline because the website I found it was sort of a good way of sort of making the analog related to organizing your work. So there are some steps. There are 6 steps, and first step is decide your frog. So this is the anticipation is based on that you have a lot to do. You have many tasks on the table. So the first thing to do is to decide your frog. Which one is the biggest? And the recommendation is should be the biggest and the most difficult one that will consume most energy to pick. And then you have to pick something you'll be able to. Oh, so I have to can't see. Pick something that you will be able to complete in 1 to 4 hours. That's sort of very. That's very detailed. Yeah. But at least something that you should be able to in one working day anyways. Next step is to break it down into smaller steps if needed. And often if it's a big frog, there might be different elements. So if there's a huge conflict, then you need to talk to the main problem. And then you might have to talk to another one. You need to facilitate a solution. So you need to break this down, right? Just to relate it to for instance, a proposal process with a conflict. Then you need to, apparently, according to this way, you need to resist the temptation to plan ahead. So the idea is to focus on that frog on your table, not saying, when I'm finished eating this frog, then I can do this. You have to focus on eradicating the frog. Then the recommendation is the step 5 is to prepare your frog the night before. In other words, you maybe have a look, maybe you reflect, put down some steps on paper, what you would need to do to prepare the frog, so to say, to eat it, how it is best served, for you to have a clear idea when you step into work the next morning, this is how I will attack the problem. And then, as you said, last step, eat your frog first thing. So no procrastination, no no jumping around all kinds of different things. So looking at cat videos on Facebook. I don't know. Can you relate to these steps? Is it something where you can say, okay, this is actually how I approach it, or is there anything where you say, how do you prepare your frog?
Yeah, for sure. This one related to prepare your frog the night before. This is something that I did. Yeah. Sometimes it's not good to do it, but it's something that you have in your mind, and just to really understand how are you going to do it, how you are going to deal with everything.
Why do you say that? Is that because if it's something that is creating anxiety, if it's something where personal conflict?
Yeah, sometimes, yes. And this is because this is maybe a frog that you has to be eaten the day before. Because it's already, like getting big.
And that is, of course, also, I think, maybe a frog we didn't talk about, but now we are touching upon something that is emotionally difficult to handle if you have a conflict against you. If there starts to be a movement against you, also where it gets personal against you as a coordinator.
Yeah.
That's of course very uncomfortable, and that is of course something where you might need help to solve it. Eating the frog, because of course it's uncomfortable no matter what kind of person you are. Some people handle, of course, psychologically more solid to deal with those kind of things than others, but of course when it gets personal, it's difficult. Yeah.
Yep.
Is there any specific period or phase of your work, either with proposals, supporting research teams, or project implementation, where you especially use the principle, or is it something you pick out of your toolbox arbitrarily related to when you need to work like this?
For me, right now, it's just like a standard work. Like I try to eat the frog. If there is something in my table, because I'm working on project management and proposal management and other things, and I try to do it. Like okay, if in this project there is a problem. The other day we had a meeting and we had some like something that we had to better manage, and I was like, okay, I think we need to really coordinate these work packets and blah blah blah. So I try to do it in every task that I have.
Mhm. Okay. And have you a concrete example of where it helped you with a solution, or where it made things much easier for you to work like this?
Yeah, for example, in this project that I told you, I was thinking that we had a problem, not a problem, but a lack of coordination, one work packets with the others,
Mhm.
and we are going to try to coordinate better. So I think our life is going to be easier for the next months.
Yeah. It's I think, if I can relate, I've been having situations with very tough budget negotiations. Yeah, so I've been trying to develop a BBI proposal, a
Mm.
bio-based
Yep,
industry proposal for
yep.
that call, and there was a important technicality that I was not fully aware of when we started the process. And me as a project facilitator,
Yeah.
building things up, this issue that industry had to co-finance.
Mm. Yes.
So it affects a lot the budget, right? And there we had a huge, because then we had to remuffle the budget, and it started with me because I had not read the rules properly when I started the process. So it was basically my like not proper consultancy work, right? But I still had to solve the problem. The frog was lying there, so I allied myself with the coordinator,
Mm.
and we solved it. But there was some, not just one big frog. There were a couple of big frogs there also, because the one thing is that you made a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah, you cannot hide that. You have to be transparent. If you want people to transparent with you, you need to be transparent with them, no matter how big a mistake you made. And that was of course tough, but I continued working with them in other proposals, many of the partners. So it's I guess my approach meant that they trusted me anyways, and we managed to submit the proposal. So we didn't win it, but we managed to
I was going to ask you.
we didn't win it, but we managed to submit it, and they were overall happy with my work. So
Yeah, that's great.
I think this is relatable. Anyone can relate to what we're talking about, that has been working with these things. No matter if you sit as a research manager in a research organization, as Isabel here, or as a private grants consultant has been facilitating a full proposal process. If you're coordinating a project, no matter what organization you come from, anyone can relate to this. And we all make. It's not only the others that makes mistakes. It's not only their frogs you need to eat. Sometimes you also need to eat your own frogs.
And they are the biggest one because it's you who has created the frog.
Yeah, it's quite difficult to get down, but that's it's the more important to get it down, and I think it's very important what I just mentioned. You just need to be honest.
Yeah, I was in charge of economical report of huge project in the Tesican, and sometimes you make mistakes or whatever, and with money, when money is involved, you need to do, if you have done something that was not correctly done, you have to be there for really, really fast.
Yeah, it's that's the recommendation from here. I think this is actually going to be a not so long episode. That's okay, because it's normally my episodes get very long, but this I don't think it has to be much longer, because we are covering quite well now. So it's a recommendation from here to look. I will, in the episode page for this episode, I will put link to the page I found where it's explained, and so on. So there I will also put a direct link to Isabel's post on LinkedIn, and I will put Isabel's LinkedIn post so you can connect with her if you feel like. So there's some sort of so you can all go there and find more information if you're interested in how to work with this concept, if it would help you. So that's that. Isabel, before we leave for a weekend and say goodbye to the listeners and say Happy Christmas to the listeners, we have to have my recurring segment, the toughest challenge. So I have put here, what is the toughest challenge as a coordinator, juggling and handling extreme pressure and tons of tasks? So what is the toughest challenge in this perspective
that I had? I think was this first Horizon Europe project that we were granted in the FASIC. And before signing the contract with the European Commission, the principal investigator that he left the organization, and was no one in the organization that wanted to really coordinate the proposal and the project.
That's rough.
Was tough because but finally we succeed to have someone to take care of the project, and now the project is running. I think it's perfect.
This is related to something we also talked about earlier, right? It's this thing when someone leaves.
Yes.
And when an important one leaves, that is I tried it. I tried it a couple of times, and I managed every time to handle it. I had a proposal that was cursed. There kept being problems. There kept being the coordinator left, so I had to find a coordinator. But we managed. But it is the toughest thing when it's totally disruptive, especially in I've not tried what you tried there. When it is when you have secured the money, and then the core person for everything leaves. It's no, that I've not tried, but I concur that it's definitely a rough one. Yeah. No, Christmas is coming. For you listeners out there, it's you've had a Christmas morning. This will be released on the 25th of December. I will just, before we say goodbye, I'm just going to land the plane of the episode. So, dear listeners, thank you so much for listening to the end. I hope you enjoyed this episode on this special episode on how to work as a project coordinator and proposal preparer. Don't forget to check out my website, thegrant.eu. You will find the whole back catalog. I have more than 80 episodes now. There should be something in your taste if you liked what you just listened to. And while you're in there, don't forget to submit to subscribe to my email list. This is the way I, as a podcaster, move on and become stronger. It is to get if you subscribe to my list. So thanks for that. That's currency in the podcast world. Otherwise, Oh, I always say so many things here in the end. Maybe I should just make it shorter. Connect with me on LinkedIn if you're not already. This is where the fun happens, and this is also where I share and like Isabel's posts here. So that's that. Isabel, Merry Christmas.
Feliz Navidad.
Yeah, Feliz Navidad. Have a nice one in northern Sweden, and let's say goodbye to the dear listeners. Bye.
Bye.